All right, today I'm going to talk about 3 things you can do to increase your motivation by hacking your dopamine. So I'm sure we've all had these times where we feel super motivated, we get a whole lot done, and sometimes it can feel effortless. And we all love those days. You look back, it was very productive, you got a ton done, and it feels really good. Now the problem is this can often be fleeting, and lots of times we're not sure why we were so productive on some days, and other days we're just kind of really trying to push ourselves with willpower to be motivated. And a big driver of this, something that really influences your motivation, your productivity, your thinking, is dopamine. Now there's not a safe way to supplement dopamine. However, there are things that we can do so we can naturally increase our levels in a healthy and a safe way. So I'm going to share 3 things that you can do so you can have more optimal dopamine levels. So number 1 is cold, and this is one of my favorites. Cold has been a huge healer for me. I talk about this a lot, but if you're just getting started with cold, one of the best places to start is with a cold shower. And you don't have to take a full cold shower. That's great if you do, but if you just want to kind of dip your toe in, take your normal hot shower, and then at the very end, turn the water cold and see if you can last a minute. Maybe the first time go for 30 seconds and kind of push yourself, but that's going to make you feel really good. It's also going to increase your dopamine, so it's a really great way to start your day. It's going to increase your energy, and it's going to make you more resilient to the cold if it's really cold where you are this time of year, like it is where I live. Another way to introduce yourself to the cold is through face dunks. So what you do is you fill up a large bowl with ice water, hold your breath, stick your face in there. Put your face in there for as long as you can, come out, take a break for 45 to 60 seconds, and then do it again. Do that 5 times. And the first time you do this, I'm not going to lie, it's pretty uncomfortable. But if you stick with it, it's going to get easier and easier, and you'll work up to a point where you can keep your face in the water for as long as you can hold your breath. But after you do that, you're going to have a huge rush from dopamine. You're also going to feel very energized, and it gives people all different benefits. So cold shower and ice water face dunks are both great ways to increase your dopamine. Now number 2 is UV light. So you actually make dopamine in your eye using UVA light. So in the morning you want to watch the sunrise, and you want to watch that without your glasses. And the reason is that really turns on a lot of your hormones, and it helps to balance your hormones. So it's not just about having high dopamine, it's about having a good balance of these different neurotransmitters so we can perform and we can be optimal. Those other neurotransmitters include things like serotonin, GABA, acetylcholine, but getting exposure to full spectrum sunlight helps to balance out these different neurotransmitters in your hormones, allowing you to more easily access these peak states. So you want to watch the sunrise, and then depending on the time of year, in the summer it's earlier, in the winter it's later, but in the winter time, about 60 to 90 minutes after sunrise, UVA light enters the solar spectrum. So you want to get outside during that time, get that light in your eyes. You got to lift your glasses if you wear glasses, because glasses block UVA light. So try to get 5, 10, 15 minutes out there, and just that natural light exposure is going to naturally increase your dopamine. Now, I spend a lot of time on a computer, and one of the hacks I do when working indoors, I work in a home office, so I usually have my window open so I'm getting full spectrum sunlight into my office. Another thing I do is I have a black light behind my computer to add a little bit of UVA light to my home environment. This helps my body make more dopamine. So number 1 is sunlight, and then number 2, an indoor hack, is using a black light for a little extra UVA light so you can naturally make some more dopamine and other very helpful neurotransmitters. So that's number 2. Number 3 I call self or environment, because these are things that you can do yourself personally, or you can create a better environment to increase your dopamine. So number 1 for that is the people you hang out with. And I'm sure you've noticed some people you hang out with really drag you down, and they're not a lot of fun to be with, and you get done hanging out with them and you just feel drained. Part of that reason is because they're stealing your dopamine. Now, so what do you do? What's the opposite of that? Hang out with people that lift you up. We all know people that really lift us up, make us feel great. And when we're with those people, we have more dopamine, we can get a whole lot more done. So be very mindful of the people you spend your time with. Next is you want to be pushing yourself to do things that are challenging to you. Not super challenging, so you're way out of your comfort zone, but just a little bit outside of your comfort zone. And also things that you find creative. So for some people, that can be doing artwork, that can be doing writing, making music. Those are all different things that are going to boost your creativity, which is going to boost your dopamine. And over time, you're going to be able to more easily access these flow states from always challenging yourself and from doing creative things. Another thing is music. Have you ever been driving in your car and all of a sudden a song comes on that you haven't heard in a while? Or maybe it's a new song and it just all of a sudden it changes your state. So the right music can also increase our dopamine. So pay attention to these different things in your life that increase your dopamine. Be very mindful of them and intentionally add more of these things to your life that are increasing dopamine. And when you notice something that's sucking the ever-living life right out of you, that's something you want to avoid. So number 1 is cold water. Number 2 is UV light, ideally from the sun. And then number 3 is doing things that challenge you, hanging out with the right people, listening to uplifting music. And if you do those things consistently, you are going to have healthier levels of dopamine. You're going to feel more motivated. You're going to think better. You're going to get more done. And life is just a whole lot better when you're more productive and you feel smarter. So I hope this helps. If you want more information, there's a link somewhere. Click the link. You can get more ideas on things you can do to optimize your energy, optimize your brain, be more productive, and live a better life.